Hi, this is Caput Piso. I am thinking. You know, when you think and you want to create thoughts and all that, you have to walk. You always do that. The Greeks used to do that when they used to teach, called the peripathetics. Right in Greece, the teachers, you know, all the students went right with them. They observed nature, they study, and they were thinking. That's very, very important because we are our brains. A lot of people don't realize that. I want to talk about that today. Greatest problem facing America today, you know, it is religious psychosis. It is actually the bizarre metamagical beliefs found in all religions, and of course in neurological disorders like schizophrenia, temporal epilepsy, schizotype, and so forth. Because we are evolved primates that create God thinking everything with the brain. We are product of a fuck, not a stork. And we're in the 21st century. But people that are uneducated or have problem with the brain, or they grow up having these problems, thanks to the parents that infect the kids with all this garbage, and the kids are in many cases they have weak brains. They don't grasp things, so they keep growing up despite an education, accepting imaginary friends as if they were reality, like the resurrecting zombies, like the Christians that say with blood, and angels, demons, demonic possession, and like slime psychotics that believe in flying horses that give Prophet Muhammad a tour of heaven, accompanied by Angel Gabriel. That is a psychosis. It was okay thousands of years ago, centuries ago, to accept that as reality. Yes, because they didn't know better. They didn't know science. Today, in this 21st century, we do. The brain is the creator of thought. So, religious beliefs become just a malfunction of the brain. You know, the greatest problem is that nobody seems to see it, including the mentally healthy, which are atheists. And a true atheist is the one, you know, atheism means lack of belief in God. But what is belief? What is God? God is bizarre belief of imaginary friends. Call it what you want. But Jesus Christ, Christ means Savior, by the way, is no different than Winnie the Pooh, or the Zeus, or Allah, or the flying penis from Pompeii, or any of those things. You can invent any God you want with the brain. We know that. I mean, this can be proven by a simple brain operation. Give a Christian a lobotomy and you can remove their belief in the imaginary friend that says with blood, called Jesus the Christ. The mentally healthy, or atheist, they don't see it. There's a lot of atheists like Dawkins and Dennett and Sam Harris and Hitchens, and they do not see it. All these guys were born out of a fuck, and they were babies. They went through the imprinting period. The brain didn't zap into existence just like that. They learn things. And they were under the metamagical, psychotic, religious beliefs of the parents and the society that infected them. And they grew up. And they learned, they went to school. So, and they enjoyed the fairy tales when they were children. And they believe them, they accept them as reality. So what happened now? How come Docking he doesn't believe in these Christian fairy tales, and he always ranks them down? But he doesn't go to the root of the problem. When he was in a lecture with, in a discussion with Francis Collins, that believe in a resurrecting zombies, as say, with blood and demonic possession. Today, in this 21st century, and Francis and Dawkins went all around talking about how come this is not possible, and he's an atheist, and God doesn't, it's not around, it's not real, and he goes through all this mumbo jumbo, wasting his time without telling Francis Collins, listen, you're creating God with the brain. So, if you're creating imaginary friends with the brain, like anything, something's wrong with you. You have a problem. And Hitchens should say that too, instead of wasting all the time with all these books. Same thing applies with Sam Harris. A letter to a Christian nation? He's blind. He doesn't see it. He should say a letter to a Christ psychosis infected nation. What is a Christian? A Christian is a person that believes a resurrected zombie named Jesus Christ. He offered his body in sacrifice to save humanity with his blood for the sin committed by a madman named Adam and a ripped woman named Eve. When they disobey him, they disobey, and they accepted a forbidden fruit from a talking snake. That is a Christian. And there's many sects of all these fairy tales all over the place. What is Sam Harris talking to people about? A letter to a Christian nation. These Christians are schizotypal. They have a problem with the brain, and you can Google Dr. Sapolsky, a brilliant neuroscientist, but he really sees the ideas. Someone in the 1940s, Devereaux, a biologist, in the 1940s, he said, religion is simply organized as schizophrenia. That's the truth. He was very true about this. Didn't you believe in imaginary friends to be real when you were 4 or 5 years old? Didn't you talk to things? Do you know anything? It's trying to, during the imprinting period, before, you're trying to make sense of the world that were around you. You learn the things. You learn to have coordination, to walk, you make languages, and your brain was going 100 miles an hour trying to make sense of everything, trying to learn, pick up things. If you didn't learn that at that time, forget it. Later on, you become retarded, delayed. It's only a certain window you can actually learn things when you're a little kid, when you're doing imprinting period, otherwise forget it. Why? Because the brain is absorbing things. We create God with the brain. It doesn't exist. God is simply a psychosis. The belief in God is a psychosis, which is no different to this bizarre belief of the schizophrenic. They also have their imaginary friends, but the name is different. Theologians are nothing but people with mental problems that study imaginary friends. That's what a theologian is. Something interesting is that every religious belief and ceremonies all throughout the world, many imaginary friends, they stagnate the mind of children. They keep them stupid. They keep them dumb. Because they gave him all these fairy tales, void of reality. You know, religions all over the world, you know, no matter what it is, they are based on fairy tales. Okay? Corrupting the mind of children. They keep people stuck in the past. In other words, theotarded. All religions do that. But I'm going to compare now, I'm going to show you a film between a religious psychosis fairy tale narrated by an adult pastor, and then of course children fairy tales. There's no difference.
A fairy godmother picked up a pair of dirty shoes and said, "Well, you have shoes that aren't shiny."
God then said we, yes, God has done great things for us. You wait till the world starts seeing the restoration process of God in our lives.
I'll do something that you can do yourself. Cinderella thought for a moment, and then she decided her fairy godmother was right, but she didn't know.
The God's people. What the Bible means when it says, "I will restore the years that have been stolen." Haggai, Zechariah.
Cinderella how to hold the rag and how to use it to rub the shoes so that the dirt disappeared. But the fairy godmother
645-3087.
The temple's destroyed. 70 years have gone past. They're in Babylonian captivity.
Here's a good fairy tale book with lots of magic. Boy, this one here, amazing. Lots of imaginary friends. Christ psychotics have 10 of these, but this one is about facts. We're evolved mutated primates. No different than any other animal. Too bad, people. When we get old, we suffer disease, wrinkle. The only life after death we have is bacteria eating our rotting remains.
So Darius comes on the scene. In the 6th month of the 1st day of the month came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet unto Zerubbabel. Now Zerubbabel's the governor of Judah. He's the governor of God's city. Amen.
Oh, look at that! A mysterious, a flying shirt, a miracle.
9 days. You'll see like 9 candelabras,
Is to make
9 days of the Saturnalia.
cardinals have time to return to Rome.
All come from the Roman Empire.
Return to perform one of their most sacred duties, electing the next supreme pontiff. It is called conclave, a 1,000-year-old tradition full of ritual that continues today.
All from the Roman Empire. Everything.
The most recent conclave in the Sistine Chapel, the cardinals place their hands on the Bible and swear to keep the proceedings secret.
What is the difference between that book and this one? Winnie the Pooh, the Lord and Savior. It's as real as those fairy tales of the Bible.
3. Then the word of the Lord came unto Haggai the prophet, saying, here's God. God's sarcastic.
Oh, they're going to get baptized. Interesting.
Today's shushy bye baby.
Every night the sun.
Oh, there's God. There's the prophet right there.
Go out throughout.
Oh, the prophet.
But isn't it nice? Don't you remember when you were, 2 years old, 3 years old? You believe anything that everybody tells you, and you wanted the toys and feeling, and you were under jet propulsion. These little squeezy things that, and you squeeze and it stinks, but you didn't know anything about it, and your mom come around and change your napkins because you were on jet propulsion. Isn't it interesting? So that was great. But nowadays, when you're an adult, you're grown up, and you believe in the same fairy tales as you were in reality, boy, something is wrong. So religious beliefs is no different than neurological malfunctions like schizophrenia. They're mild schizotypy, but they can develop into really, really big things. Look at what happened to Christian Hitler. Christ killed the Jews. Then you see Jim Jones, Koresh, and all these people. Andrea Yates that drowned the children. So it's very, very dangerous. And this is the problem in the United States, Christ psychosis. And nobody seems to see the disorder. There was a test for kids because, you know, the native, anybody with dark skin is considered inferior. That's the reason the Christ psychotic morons, they don't like Obama. They're racist. See, and they have this test. They don't like illegal immigrants. They don't like Mexicans because they're inferior. They don't like Native Americans because they're inferior. So, look at this test in today's schools. That's how dangerous it is.
To that question. One of them is, what does the U.S. do with illegal immigrants? And one of the answers was shoots them into space, into outer space.
This is an actual answer.
This is an actual answer on the quiz. The other one was puts them to death.
Yeah. Christian.
Online, and this was
Christian teachings
by Ed Helper. This is an educational website that is supposed to be.
That's the reason, because that's the way the Christ psychotic think.
You know, as part of 4 answers.
They don't have enough. You drink, but you're not filled with drink. Oh Lord, fill us with drink. Fill us with that new wine.
It's a magic wand.
Well, I'm practicing my sign language.
See the problem? And pretty men's like Dawkins, Sam Harris, Dennett, Hitchens, and many other atheists don't see it. Don't see these people are nuts. They have a problem with the brains. Of course, they are not really neuroscientists, so Dawkins is like this, despite his brilliant brain, but he cannot see things around. The same thing with Sam Harris. These people are blind, and they are not, in my opinion, they are not true atheists. Because a true atheist means lack of belief, is a person that actually realizes that accepting imaginary friends, bizarre beliefs, metamagical beliefs in all religions as reality by anyone that is educated is a sign of a psychosis, a sign of a brain malfunction, something wrong. Because there's no difference between this acceptance of bizarre beliefs and neurological disorders like schizophrenia. I mean, it's right there. I think Dennett, Sam Harris, and all these people, they should go to mental institutions and go see schizophrenics. And people they're really mild. People are not even committed. Go to the hospitals. I have all over the world. For 20 years, I've seen these people. They're no different than religious people. And that's my problem. And that's the reason that's the problem. And that's the reason I am warning everybody to actually expose the disease, which nobody seems to see.
You not only have the good works on the outside, they don't look good, but even on the inside. And into something, it never loses its shape. Turn to somebody and say, you twisted thing. No, just kidding. We're twisted. But oh, when God gets a hold of us.
Rianne wanted to meet Z's. She felt Z's was totally.
Look at that, the magic.
Made her dream wish for the night.
God is coming out of the box.
Dream about meeting her hero Z.
Clouds, the
because
saints.
Rianne was dead.
Go see a neurologist.
Father,
Your brain is defective.
in Jesus' name, amen.
Christ psychosis, retard.
This Christ psychosis infected woman, Sarah Palin, had an exorcism. See the problem in the United States?
Grew up for part of the time childhood in Indonesia. As you know, that Mike Huckabee in his previous interview had said he had grown up in Kenya. Said he just misspoke.
Misspoke, because it ignoramus, Christ psychotic.
In his words, they can't read, saying that they just mixed the situation up.
Bullshit.
But interesting, suggested the president had a different experience, saying that most Americans grow up with Boy Scout meetings, not madrasas. As you know, CNN dug that.
What a moron!
The president never attended a madrasa. He attended an international school when he was in Indonesia.
That's right.
Yeah, we know.
Huckabee is a Christ psychotic ignoramus.
Really appreciate.
See the problem? And why are these people so stupid, ignorant, and deluded? with malfunctioning brains, believing in imaginary friends and resurrecting zombies, because they have a problem with the brain. They're stuck. And we should not have morons like this in public office. All these people, and the majority of the United States, are infected with the disorder. So this is the problem. They should be helped. Like people suffering from depression and Alzheimer's and all that. They shouldn't be in public office at all. This is the problem.
I mean, there's critical.
Understand that in the 21st century.
Or two issues.
Learn science, idiot.
So I don't believe his homosexuality is God's best for a
God,
person's life.
morons. The great guy with the brain.
And finally, it can sometimes show up as delusions. This is a fixed false belief when a person believes something to be true that's not true. And no matter how hard you try and convince them, they still believe it to be true.
Before trying to be elected for public office or anything, you should pass a mental test. And I believe in 6 members of the Supreme Court are Christ-psychotic. They believe in imaginary friends, resurrected zombies. Scalia, Justice Roberts. These people have a problem with the brain. And they should be removed for medical reasons. All of them, they should be removed. Take every congressman, every senator, and make them pass a mental test. And if they believe in imaginary friends and zombies and demonic possession, they should be put them in a medical leave and should be removed from public office. A doctor, a medical doctor that believes in imaginary friends and resurrecting prophets and crap like that, also put them, remove them. So all these people should be removed for medical reasons. They're screwing up the country. And all these facts that I present go back to our nature. Evolved mutated primates that create God with the brain. We rather to have fairy tales than the down-to-earth naked truth. That we are evolved mutated primates, we're full of bacteria, our shit stinks, excreta, bacteria, we suffer from radiation. It's going to make us all wrinkled up and old, and the nose goes down, the ears get bigger, our balls will sag, and our penis gets smaller, and we get like this, and we go like that, and somebody's going to wipe our ass. And then the medical doctors have fun because, you know, all the auspices and all these places will benefit. Have you noticed if the pharmaceutical companies will make billions? Billions. You know, and they don't allow us to kill ourselves or to have euthanasia. Oh, no, because all people are treasure. Because they have to spend so much money in medication and everything that they brings the economy going. And of course you have the psychosis, and you have the believing imaginary friend God and all that. But the truth is very hard to accept. The fact is, we are animals. The only life after death that we'll receive is bacteria eating our remains. That's the truth. But let's get cure psychosis in this country. I mean, it's going to be extremely difficult because we have to place these people in the mental institutions they belong. Or hospitals, you know, they cause depression, they have all these things, bipolar disorder, because religious beliefs are simply a neurological disorder, malfunction of the brain. We're in the 21st century. Pace Dios.